Okay, so are you ready if I let people in? I actually now feel nervous that there's 5 people because last week it was just 2.
Oh no, actually,
do this.
You're fine. You're fine. It's good. It's good.
Just do that. Right, I'm going to let people in. You ready?
Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Do it.
Let's see. Admit all. Admit all. See that if they come in. Oh, we've got people coming.
I'm in now. It just took a while. Sorry.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Morning.
Hello. Hi, Keely. Nice to see you.
And you too.
Good morning.
I remember you, Keely, from FEA career, actually. FEA.
FBA, yeah.
It's been a while. How
Hi,
are
Lisa.
you?
Hi, Lou. Hi, Tara. And hi, Becky and Louise. I don't think I've met you two before, but hello, I'm Nicola.
Hello.
I'm the one that's running CEO Hour today. Caveat. I was awake for 3 hours last night from 2:40 in the morning until 5:40. Why does that always happen when you've got something that you have to deliver? So I do apologize if I start stop speaking mid-flow or something, but it's like people are asking me to do stuff and I'm literally just finding myself staring at things. So hopefully once I get into the flow, I'll be absolutely fine. But if not, then in the meantime, I'm just letting you know, just bear with me. So for those of you that haven't joined CEO Hour before, this is a relatively new thing that I've started doing recently. My name is Nicola, by the way. I run Rebel for Business. I set up my business to help busy women in business to find more freedom through strategy and also implementation of systems. And the reason why I have set up the CEO Hour is because when I started running my online business, I've run businesses in the past, but they were in-person, service-based, so I could very much rely on kind of like my local community and things like that to build that business up. When you're running a business online, as I am, it is completely and utterly a different ballgame. And I didn't realize how difficult it actually was. Now, I have been a member of a couple of different memberships. I've done some great online networking. I've met some incredible people. A number of you are actually here today. But what I thought was really missing is kind of that focus on stepping into your CEO shoes and being really focused on what it is that you need to deliver to actually move your business forwards. Because I think that we're all really, really great at keeping ourselves very busy with a lot of different things, and quite often those things might be nice to do's, or it's things that we're quite comfortable at doing, but it's not the things that move our business forwards. Now, these particular sessions do have a little bit of different slant because I do have a background in social psychology, and I very much try and bring that in to what it is that I deliver for my clients. But then also it's just that each CEO Hour will then have a different theme, so to speak. So this theme this month is all about identity. And that's also why I invited the lovely Chrissie to come and do a guest spot this month as well. And she will go into what she's going to talk about because I don't want to spoil it so much. And I know what I'm like once I start talking, I'll probably start rambling on and cover half of it. So I will stick to my remit and then I will pass you over to Chrissie. And then there will be opportunity at the end, I'm sure, for any questions or anything. And if people do have any questions for me or Chrissie directly, then you're also welcome to direct those at us and we will answer them as best as we can for you. Now, just to let you know that at the end of the session, the things that both me and Chrissie are talking about should bring up some thoughts and things. So you might want a piece of paper and a pen or somewhere where you can take some notes. But it would also be really great if at the end of the session you have something that you want to try and focus on, that you're willing to kind of action and commit to over this next month. Because this is the purpose of the CEO Hour, as I was mentioning before, is to actually do the things which are going to move your business forward. So that being said, I'm going to get on and start talking about the topic for this month, which is CEO identity, who you actually are versus who you may have been performing. When I started putting my notes together for this, I very much the first thing that popped into my head was the TV show with Hyacinth Bouquet. Does anybody remember that show? So Hyacinth Bouquet, her name is spelled Bucket. So, good afternoon, the Bouquet residents. Like, it just always makes me laugh, like how, somebody can kind of just step into like a different role entirely from who they actually are. And it also made me think about my mum as well. My mum's always worked in really quite like an office-based job, but very front of house, in a law firm. And my mum definitely has a telephone voice. Does anybody still use a telephone voice? So like my mum will be very much like, hello, Irene Duxbury. And it's just like, that's not her normal kind of way that she would speak at all. So I always find that that's, like just very simple examples of how it is that we can kind of put ourselves into performance mode without actually really realizing it. I think that today in business, it's a lot easier for people to put on a performance, especially when we're using a lot of social media. In kind of like, if you see these posts all the time, don't you, about Instagram versus reality and things like that. And I just want you to have a little think now about your own business. And, like if you think about your website content, like how you've written that, maybe how you show up in a discovery call, like who actually turns up in that version of yourself? Is it you, like as in who you would be behind closed doors to your, like your friends and the people that know you? Or do you feel like it's a version of you that decides that this is safe enough for me to kind of like show to people that don't necessarily know me? Because most of us do run our entire business from a constructed identity. It is a little bit of a performance at times, especially when we're having to pretend that we're great at social media or we're posting things out. And it's almost a carefully curated version of ourselves where we think that this is all right for us to show this part of ourselves because it's going to be more accepted. And, we're just trying to kind of like prove ourselves so that we can be taken seriously. And I think that we're so used to kind of performing that and not offering ourselves up fully that we kind of forget like who we are sometimes. There is like a bit of an issue with that as well when we're constantly doing that kind of like performance role. And it is kind of when you're doing that constantly, it's almost like causing friction within yourself as to who you are, but who you're performing. And that can actually be also really exhausting. Drawing on my social psychology background, there is a sociologist called Goffman who speaks about how social interaction is essentially a performance. So this is not something that we just kind of plucked out of thin air and just thought, oh, that'd be interesting to talk about. Like, this is actually a thing that is well known. And he talks about how we all have a front stage, so that's the version that we present to the world. But then we also have a backstage, and that's who we are when nobody else is watching. And I know myself that for me, like, it is two very different people, because for me, a lot of people think that I can be quite kind of confident and very much, like out there. But then when I'm at home, I love nothing more than spending time on my own and just having a lot of peace and quiet. So there is two different people there entirely. Now, Goffman wasn't saying that we are fake. He's just saying that that's how humans actually navigate social life. So we read the room, we adjust, and then we kind of like manage our impressions on people. As I said before, there's nowhere more visible than in social media. And I think that a lot of us have fallen into the trap of creating like social media content, video content, stuff like that, and then feeling as though we have to kind of edit it and make sure that it's perfect before we put it out there. I myself, at the beginning of the year, I've really had to push myself out of my comfort zone. But I have started recording more content and literally just like recording like solo podcast, 10 minutes here, like doing these CEO hours, kind of like recording video content and not editing it at all, putting it onto Instagram and social media, because actually people do want to see the authentic version of you. So I think what I really would like you to think about at the moment, when whilst we're going through these talks and whilst Chrissie is talking, again, is just how perhaps you can kind of like uncover certain elements of who you actually are and how you can show the world who you are. Because actually, coming back to and bringing this back to business, people really want to see the authentic you. And that's the version of you that is going to attract your ideal clients. When I first started my business, and I was being a little bit more polished, and I was kind of putting content out there that I thought people wanted rather than what I wanted to put out, because I thought that's what you needed to do. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing in the online space when I first started, and I'm being totally honest. But the only way that you can learn as to what lands and stuff is to actually put it out there. And what I have found is that I genuinely thought that I had to be more confident to put out the content, but actually in putting the content out, that has made me more confident. That's made me feel as though I can show up and be myself. And if people don't relate to who I am as me, or there's certain things that they might not, resonate with or something like that, then that's totally fine, because I'm a true believer that they're just not my ideal clients. So I just want to kind of finish this little talk about identity just by essentially saying that, it sometimes is difficult for us to admit that maybe we do put on a little bit of a performance, or that we feel like everything has to be very polished. But if you do that, which you probably do, because I think we all do, because we're human, then you're not on your own. And there's no shade being thrown about this at all. But I just feel like, now is the time to really step into who you are as a person. People are talking a lot about personal brands at the moment and how you need to kind of develop your personal brand. But the best way to develop your personal brand is literally to be yourself and to share parts of you online as your business. Talk about the things that are important to you, share things and thoughts about certain things, topics or whatever. It doesn't have to be business related, it can just be something that you're really interested in, but they will slowly and surely get to know a little bit more about you. And that's not to say that you need to tell them everything about your life, but just where you're comfortable with sharing what it is that you want to share, but also points of interest to differentiate you from everybody else on the online space. So I now are just going to read a couple of questions, and this might just spark some thoughts or something, and it might be something that you want to ask questions about at the end, or just take them away and think about them. I will also follow up this session with a copy of the recording, by the way, and there will be these questions in there too, so you can think about it more. I know people really like to have a little bit of journaling time or something like that and spend more time thinking about it. So what do you say about your business when you're talking to a friend, like versus what you actually write on your website? Is there a gap between what it is that you have on your website, that copy content, to what you would say to a friend about what your business is and what you deliver? Because if there is, that gap is where your real voice lives. What do you never say publicly that you believe privately? The thing that feels too niche or too honest, or just maybe a bit too much, because we do like to kind of like make sure that we're not upsetting the apple cart, so to speak. Like, that's usually your most powerful positioning. So if there is something that you have like a really strong belief or something, how can you relate that back to your business? Because again, there'll be people within your audience that would really resonate with that. And then the third question is, who were you before you decided you had to be professional? So were you fun loving? Did you like to, like have jokes and things? And then all of a sudden you start your business and you think, right, that's it now. I have to just put my leader hat on and be very, very kind of like leadership role, straight down the line, very serious and very professional. Because that person that you were before you decided that you had to be professional didn't disappear. It's still there inside of you. And your business probably needs that more than you realize, and definitely more than the polished version of you. So I'm going to leave you with those questions, and I hope that you've learned something a little bit new, or something that's just like triggered some thoughts, or definitely something for you to take away and think about later. But just to finally say that identity isn't fixed. We are humans and we do change all the time. That's the important thing that you should always remember. And that your own self-concept also evolves over time. That's why we change as we grow older, and you develop new interests and get new thoughts or beliefs. So it responds to your environment, it responds to your life experiences, and also to the stories that you've decided to tell yourself. But it's never too late to change a different one. So think about the woman that you want to be in those CEO shoes, and then decide to make those leaps to become that CEO leadership role. So I am now going to pass you on to Chrissie. I'll let Chrissie introduce herself, and I'll catch up with you in a little while.
Oh, thank you, Nicola. That was I feel like you were talking directly to me then and giving me a bit of a kick up the arse, to be honest. But yeah, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And I think those three questions at the end have definitely given me certainly a lot to think about. So I will come back to those shortly. But thank you for having me, first and foremost, here. It's an honour to be here, to just be among your company, but also to be able to share a little bit about what I do and how your environment actually has a massive impact on you on a subconscious level that you probably are unaware of, and how you can start to work with it to step into your next level identity, if you like, how you can embody a different energy, how you can embody more confidence, perhaps, just by having a bit more of an understanding and awareness of your physical environment. So I am an energy design strategist. My background's in interior design, and I came into Feng Shui about 3 or 4 years ago. And it has genuinely changed my life in so many different ways. And I'm not going to go into all the details on here. You can have a look at my website and feel free to download all the historical stories in there. But today I just want to focus on one particular area of your home, because this one particular area tells me so much about the identity that you are currently embodying, and that's actually your wardrobe. So when I'm working with my clients, I work over three different layers. That's the physical space, the energetic space, which is that sort of unseen layer, and then the embodied layer, which is your energy and how you interact with that space. So as entrepreneurs, we tend to work a lot with that embodiment layer, the self-development, the mindset work, the confidence aspects, like Nicola was talking about earlier on, how you put different hats on for showing up in different scenarios, talking to different people under different circumstances. But what I said before, people fail to kind of recognize and acknowledge is actually that your physical environment has a tremendous impact on how you think, how you behave, how you make decisions, and it's affecting how you show up every single day. So when we talk about your environment, a lot of people tend to just automatically assume we're talking about, your office or your workspace, but actually, if you think about it, your clothes are your closest environment, and you're wearing these from the minute that you wake up until, obviously you go to bed. I assume you wear pajamas. each to their own. But essentially, you're in contact. This environment is in contact with you all day. It's not something that you can take off when you leave the office very easily. So this layer essentially sits at the intersection of all three of these different layers. It affects your physical, it affects the embodied, and it affects that energetic layer as well, because your clothes do carry energy. And I work a lot with this with a lot of my one-to-one clients, but this is one of the first things that we look at, because as I said, it tells me so much about where you are right now, who you are embodying right now, and also it tells me a lot about, you know, what sort of past identities might be holding you back. Your clothes are also a really, really strong indicator of how you treat yourself, how you, you know, how you show up every day, how you view yourself. They represent your self-worth, how you prioritize yourself, whether you feel that you matter, you know, and they also represent the different roles that you play within your life, whether that's a mum, a CEO, or maybe a caregiver. And they also show me how much you're willing to tolerate as well. So, for example, and this tends to be the classic way that this kind of micro behavior shows up. And I know that we will all have clothes like this in our wardrobe, but clothes that have got stains on, clothes that have got holes in, clothes that are looking a little bit shabby and worn around the edges that you don't really want to get rid of yet because they've still got a little bit of extra wear in them. You know, we've all got clothes like that. But it does indicate on how much you're willing to tolerate. So it's really, really fascinating when you start to think about your wardrobe in this kind of way. Clothes also have memory as well. They are connected to certain points in your life, special occasions, certain pivotal moments, and they can carry a huge emotional charge. Some clothes we tend to keep out of obligation. Maybe you feel guilty about getting rid of something. Maybe it belonged to somebody that is no longer with us, and you know there's a very strong emotional connection and charge to that. So it's really quite a sensitive area to explore when you start getting into it. And they can also represent past versions of yourself as well. And believe it or not, every single person will have something that belongs to a past identity or a period that has now lapsed within their life in their wardrobe. And essentially what happens when you put those clothes back on, you are stepping back into that identity. You are reliving the energy that you would have felt at the time of owning and embodying those clothes. So, for example, if that is, I don't know, maybe it's a suit that you had from a previous job that's just sat in your wardrobe and you haven't touched it for the last, I don't know, 5 years, you are going to be remembering how you felt in that role, why you left that role. And that's going to conjure up a lot of different memories and experiences from that period in your life. And essentially what's happening is when you're wearing these clothes, you're reinforcing those core roles, those behaviors and those feelings that happened during that period of time, and it then becomes an energetic anchor to that point in your life. So these can be really strong anchors, and that can make you feel a little bit out of sync if your wardrobe is kind of kept in that time capsule. And that can make you feel like maybe sometimes that you don't feel ready. Maybe it can show up as overthinking visibility, procrastinating, holding back on being like seen for who you really are, questioning your worth, not feeling good enough, low confidence. But it's not because you're not capable at what you do. It's just because your wardrobe, your space is holding on to so much stuff from a past point in your life that it's not helping you propel yourself forward. So this is where it starts to get really interesting, because when we're talking about your clothes as energetic anchors, you can start to reprogram that when you start to think about the person that you want to embody, the person whose identity is your most successful version of yourself, or maybe just the next level of yourself, because we have multiple different layers throughout our business and throughout our lives and throughout our journeys. And when you can start to feel into who that person is, what they like, how they dress, how they show up, you can start to tailor your wardrobe to what she would wear, how she would show up. And that then helps you step by step start to embody that new identity. So you're creating like a pathway, if you like, with small energetic anchors helping you to move into that new level of embodiment. So before we start talking about like the reflection of this, I just want to say this isn't about chucking everything out of your wardrobe and starting from scratch, because you are going to have clothes in your wardrobe that you love. And I'm not really talking about that, because I think you should have things, everything in your wardrobe should be something that you love, something that you need, or something that you still find useful and has a place in your life right now. But if it is carrying an emotional charge that brings you down, if it's something that relates to a point in time that is no longer relevant to where you are, and it feels like it's creating a lag, then these are things that you should be freeing yourself up from. Because once you can free that up, you're making space for your next level of identity to move in. She can't move into this current embodiment of where you are right now if you haven't created the foundations for her to exist. So that's the first thing that you need to do, make space for her to come in. And then I also want you to think, I've got a few questions to sort of ponder on, really, about the sort of things that you keep in your wardrobe. So does it still fit me physically and where you are energetically? Does it make you feel good? Are you keeping it out of guilt, or are you keeping it out of habit? Is it the easy option to do, rather than making a decision and actually getting rid of something? Does it carry a positive, negative, or outdated association or memory? And what kind of condition is it in? Is it in a condition that reflects where you are now and where you're going? And then once you've done that, I would love you to have a think about your wardrobe on a zoomed out level, from a non-judgmental perspective. And ask yourself, what version of yourself do you think your wardrobe is currently supporting? What does it currently look like to you? Is it fragmented? Is it very clear? Does it feel like it's who you really are? And then ask yourself, where are you still dressing for a life that you've already outgrown? Because then you can start to create, you see this gap, you can see the gap of where there's this misalignment, and you can start to then rebuild your wardrobe around where it is that you're going. Because she's already there, that level of identity is already there. You just need to create the space for her to come in. So I hope you found that enjoyable. I hope you found that insightful, and a few things to sort of take away and ponder on. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've got any questions, then please just ask away.
That was great, Chrissie. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Chrissie? Louise?
Totally love this. I'm an energy worker, so I love all the energy stuff. And hi everybody. Hi Chrissie. Hi Nicola.
Hi.
So I'm an energy worker, but I also have an apothecary, and most of the day I am walking around the house in my scruffs, because everything gets really, really dirty, oily, messy, waxy, all the rest of it. I'm not a very clean maker. So how would you embody? So the version of me that I want to embody is not the version of me that's all scruffy all day in the house wearing my scruffs, because I can't wear any nice clothes because I'll get grease and wax and oil all over them.
I think there's other ways to look at it. So obviously your clothes have a you know, they have an emotional charge, as we said, but from a practical perspective, you have to be more considerate about the, you know, how you're using your clothes, probably more so than other people, because you're in that creative space, and often creativity and mess go hand in hand, don't they?
Yes.
So I would say that you're actually already embodying a really key part of your identity. I think it's just about how can you elevate it a little bit to make you feel like you are embodying that more successful version of you. So whether that is you know, maybe doing your hair differently, maybe putting an apron on that makes you feel good, that you like, that's, you know, maybe wearing colors that, you know, make you feel energized and more uplifted. It's just about being slightly more intentional about the clothes that you use. And it may be that those clothes are still old clothes because you know that they're going to get messy, but maybe thinking about it in a way in terms of colors that, you know, that you love, that make you feel happy. Maybe it's doing your makeup a little bit differently, putting on some perfume, and how looking at your whole identity rather than it just being your clothes. But then maybe saving your clothes for that sort of when you're not in the workshop doing, you know, the behind the scene things, saving those clothes for like your power clothes, really, and going, yes, this is my, like Nicola was saying, this is my back office stuff that has to happen, this is my creative identity, and this is my showpiece, if you like, my showpiece identity. And both of those can coexist together. It's not about creating an either or, because from a practical sense you need to have both of those. But then it also means that you can lean into either one of these identities as and when you need to, but still feel like you're embodying the fullness of who it is that you are and who that you're stepping into.
Yeah, it popped into my head. I thought, I'll get myself some dungarees. You know, like the guy on Pottery Throwdown has these dungarees that he works there. I don't know if anyone watches that, but I love it. I thought I'll get some dungarees, and that just means that when I put them on, I'm in creative mode. So yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I've also, you just reminded me that I've got the worst pair of pajamas that I've had for years that are so comfy that are ripped to hell all round the back. They're horrendous. I put them on, but I love them so much. I'm like, I need to get rid of them. So thank you very much for
You're very welcome.
Is there time for another question? Can I ask one? So mine is not just my clothes in my wardrobe, it's my wardrobe. So we live in a renovation property, and one of the things I find very difficult is that nothing is really where it should be, because we're renovating everywhere. So have you got any tips for how to sort of, so my clothes currently are on the back of my door, shoved in a drawer so thick, and I know that's not how I should be treating them. But are there any tips for how to embrace that?
How much physical space do you have for like the wardrobe?
Well, currently very little. We've got one wardrobe between me and my husband, so it's all like
okay. And I guess it's quite dusty if it's a renovation project, isn't it?
Well, it's not, because it's the route we're squashed into a temporary room. But I just know I'm not treating my clothes with the right.
Could you? So here's an idea for you.
Yeah.
Could you create a destination wardrobe? So instead of it just being the place that you've dumped your clothes, could you make that into like a temporary dressing room? Make it into an enjoyable experience, a luxurious experience when you go in there, even if it's just a case of like whacking up a couple of temporary racks, but, you know, putting them up and maybe then color coordinating them. I don't know what else you've got in that space, but if you have a room and it's all just dumped in there, then maybe it's just a case of just organizing it so that you can see what you've got. And you know, maybe putting a full-length mirror in there, maybe put some flowers in there, and just make it feel a little bit more elevated than it just be a case of rummaging through bin bags to try and find something to shove on, you know. Because I mean, I've been there, don't worry, I know exactly what that feels like. But it will also help during that renovation period as well, because, you know, when you're living in a renovation, you don't know where anything is, everything is all upside down. and you don't feel like you've got your life in order at all. So I think if you can sort of define some space, set a boundary around that space, that this is like a protected zone, and this is going to be where we house our clothes, where we look after our clothes, where we look after our identity, and make it an experience that you go into and enjoy being in there under the best circumstances that you can make it. And then I mean, what else do you have in that room?
Well, it's that we're using it as our bedroom, so there's a very small space, but I guess there's still things I could tweak, you know, and just even just going through and being really ruthless and using it as an excuse to get rid of what's not needed. I've got a lot of clothes that don't suit my current work because I'm not.
Okay, that's a perfect
so
example.
yeah, that's a good place to start.
Even if it's literally just a case of getting rid of clothes, that is still creating space for that next level to have room to come in. And actually, you'll probably feel better for doing that anyway, because you'll be able to find clothes that you really like without having to rummage through other things. It'll be a lot easier for you. You'll have less stuff, which is, when you have more stuff, it's more stress. So that will help to ease that up as well. But also, if it's in your bedroom, maybe think about the type of storage that you're using. Is there a way that you can utilize more decorative storage, stuff that's a bit more pleasing to the eye? You know, you can get some really lovely like boxes, you know, maybe even put like a temporary rail up with a curtain so that you can close it all off at the end of the day, and then you still feel that you've got, you know, a bedroom that feels like a sanctuary, even though it's a temporary solution. It just makes it feel slightly more elevated than, you know, going to bed looking at all of your clothes and feeling frustrated because you haven't got a system or anywhere to you know, to really care for them. And you'll feel better for that as well.
Yeah. Our wardrobes are in what will be our bedroom, and I do every day I go in there and I'm like, one day. It's my motivator, that is, getting my wardrobe.
Send me some pictures, Becky, and I'll have another look for you.
Thanks.
I haven't got any questions as such, but I just wanted to share that it's just come at absolute perfect time for me, because I've been itching to kind of sort out my wardrobe, because my wardrobe is an absolute mess. There's clothes just stuffed in there. There's I've recently lost 3 stone, and I'm still on my weight loss journey. So there's lots. It's really, really relevant to me because there's lots of clothes now that I have outgrown. There's lots of clothes that I can actually get back into. So that's all exciting. And actually, I just had a Devil Wears Prada day yesterday. So that has got me reconnecting with the younger version of myself who was uber trendy, used to go into Manchester all the time, shopping and cocktails and all those things. And I've actually dug out a handbag yesterday for the occasion that I bought, haven't used, and now I'm going to keep using it now as my, you know, my daily handbag, because I adore anything animal print, and it kind of helps me reconnect with that confident, fierce side of myself. So yeah, I just wanted to share that this is absolutely perfect and really ties in with everything I've been called to do. So thank you.
I love that, Keely, and congratulations and well done. That is an incredible achievement.
So I'm not going to be investing in some, you know, very high value pieces at the minute, because I'm hoping that my weight loss continues, but some lovely, I'm going to be investing in some pieces along the way that feel really good and help me, you know, inspire me to carry on and you know, to reward myself for where, you know, for how far I've come.
Definitely worth rewarding as well. And I think, you know, purchases like your handbag, that's a great, and shoes, like they are great investments, because, you know, it doesn't matter where you are on your weight loss journey, you'll be able to wear them whatever.
It's mad how clothes can make you feel, because like when it comes to shoes, I'm thinking about my shoes now, and I used to wear the most ridiculous high heels, which I can't really wear anymore because I've crookled over on my ankles too many times in them. So I've got weak ankles from it. So I like to wear really nice sort of, you know, low sandals and things like that. But I've been kind of falling back just on flip-flops and, you know, flat boots and things like that. So that's another thing to think about, is just, you know, getting some nice kitten heels or something like that that you can feel nice in when you're wearing them, that are still comfortable.
Yeah, it's just incremental upgrades, really, and those small little adjustments here and there can make a massive difference. And I think also, like you were saying, you know, you've lost a huge amount of weight, so the clothes that you were wearing before are not going to fit you now. Like that's a great opportunity now to move them on. And sort of like, it's almost like you're setting an energetic anchor now. Like, that's who I was. I'm drawing a line under that. I'm passing that on to wherever, it's take it down to the charity shop or whatever. And that's going to feel really liberating for you.
And I've got a bag ready there. This is because I go to Slimming World. They're actually on a drive at the minute, the big Slimming World clothes throwout. So I've got a bag here ready for those old clothes.
To mention something, I sorry, I had to bugger off then for a minute because Sainsbury's not. I know substitutions for aubergines for cucumbers, ridiculous. Anyway, who cooks with cucumber? But there's a Smart Works charity. I don't know if any of you know about it. Have you come across it before?
What was that? Sorry, Lee.
Charity called Smart Works. And Becky just mentioned she was getting rid of her corporate clothes. So what they do is they take in workwear for women who maybe been out of work for a time, or, you know, don't really have gone back to work, starting in their first job, don't necessarily have the money to buy work corporate gear, and they take it in and they do coaching and interview stills stuff and help them choose an outfit they look good in. So that's, if you've got suits and workwear that you don't use anymore, it's a really good place to donate your stuff. And they're in Leeds and Manchester and all over the country, but depending where we are. But yeah, sorry I disappeared, but it really resonated with me what you were saying, Chris, about I had a photo shoot last summer with Cecilia. I don't know if you guys know Cecilia. So I'd got ready all my stuff and all my brand colours I was going to wear, and then the night before I had a complete meltdown. How I felt in those clothes, going back to those outfits.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's clothes that should have made me feel really confident, just put it on the floor, and I had a tantrum and wasn't going to do it. So I think and she taught me through, she's really good. She said, no, that's nice. Are you comfortable in that? Wear that. Yeah, that's fine. That's you. And it really does. I hadn't really thought about it before, putting a uniform on or going back to how emotive clothes can be, I think.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that you kind of, and it's the same with your, you know, with your wider home as well. We become so accustomed to seeing it that we become blind to it, and we become blind to how it makes us feel until it starts to cut to the point where you actually can't ignore it anymore, or things start happening. You're like, what's going on here? And actually, it has a massive impact on so many different areas of your life. But it's in those kind of like those micro behaviors that you really resonate with it.
I try in my work, try and get people to recognize things that make us feel good rather than just things that make us feel bad. And we're not as good at that. We're very quick to tune in on things that make us feel a bit rubbish. And I think we're really good to try and focus a little bit more on recognizing the clothes that make me feel good.
Yeah. I think with that, I mean, I think when you recognize something that makes you feel not very good, it just makes it obvious as to what the discord is. It's shining a light on the discord, and it then helps you recognize that actually you need to change something. So I don't see it as a negative thing. It's just an opportunity to absorb knowledge and to be able to make a different decision, and to pivot that, because then it's giving you that opportunity to change so many different things, you know, whether that's how you feel in your clothes, or whether it's, maybe a different direction that you even want to go in your business, because these small decisions have a compounding effect over time. And it's just having that kind of openness to kind of sit in that moment and go, oh, actually, this doesn't make me feel good. Why is that? Why is it that doesn't make me feel good? What do I actually want to feel? And giving yourself permission to feel like that without feeling guilty or shaming yourself about it. Because once you can process those emotions, it actually frees you up to be able to move on without carrying any of that emotional baggage with you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any more questions? No. Chrissie, I just want to mention that there's a couple of things that I really need to get out of my wardrobe. One of them, though, I keep hold of it. It's like a pencil skirt, and it's like really kind of like bright, and it's got like a jungle type of like print on it. And it's something that I wore to a wedding a couple of years ago. And I've kept hold of it because I want to be able to like get back into it, but I haven't worn it since before I had Ronnie. But it's still there. But every time I go to like, throw it out, I'm like, no, because I'll find this again. And what if I do manage to get back into that? And you just never know, do you? So
No, you don't.
I don't know what just that you do with those types of items.
I think that is an interesting one, really, because it's still relevant to the energy of the person that you are now. And I can see you wearing that. It's not like you've changed your personal style or anything else like that. It's just, I think this is quite a classic thing that kind of comes up, really, because this sort of thing happened to me not that long ago. I still had all of my clothes that I had from my nightclubbing days and before I had my son. And obviously, for anybody that's had children, your body shape changes. You go through a period of massive transformation, and you're not the same person that you were before that happened. And I'd kept all of that stuff, and in the hope that maybe I'd come back to it, but actually that was never going to fit me again. And it took me a while to come to terms with the fact that actually it wasn't going to happen. And that was a process in itself. That was its own journey, because there's almost an element of grieving that has to happen for you to be able to accept that, acknowledge it, and let it go. So I would say to not put yourself under pressure, because things happen, and they happen, and you're ready to let them go at a time when you're ready to let them go, because it's a constant evolution. It's not a sort of once and done kind of thing. Like you were saying before, your identity changes all the time, and some things you're going to feel ready to let go of, some things you're not going to feel ready to let go of, and that's okay. It's just acknowledging that, really.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I'll just keep hold of it for a bit longer then. Such a lovely skirt.
Well, I'm just trying to keep hold of my clothes because now I've got stuff to get back into.
Yeah, exactly, Keely. And also, I just feel like it is definitely still something that I would wear if I could fasten the zip up at the back. So, there's still time. Okay, so
if it's any help, I had a red dress that moved house 7 times with me before I was ready to let it go.
Yeah.
Even doing what I do.
Yeah, I think as well, am I right in saying, Chrissie, that if it actually brings you joy when you look at it, then you should actually still keep it?
Yes, but I think you'd get more enjoyment out of it if you can wear it.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody else have any more questions for Chrissie or for me? Because if not, then we're going to be jumping forward to the commitment stage, and I'm going to be speaking to Lou and Lisa. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, but I know that you both attended the CEO Hour last month, so I would love to know how you have got on with your commitments that you made last month. So Lou, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. So my commitment was to actually spend the first part of my day working on my business, because I've been doing a lot of support for my husband's business, and that prompt was so brilliant. Thank you very much. It's made all the difference to me. I really appreciated it, and yes, I've done the things.
Yay, amazing. I love that. Well done, Lou. And Lisa,
what was mine?
What was yours? Sorry. Yours was following leads, and I bet you've not done them, have you?
No, I haven't. But I have but I've been really busy. Sorry. I've had a big project.
I know you have as well.
I have been better at following up leads that I have actually. Do you know what? I did follow those up. Yeah, I just didn't do anything last week. But after our last session, I sent everyone an email saying, right, we've not spoken for so long. Where are we up to? Yeah. What's happening? And somebody actually came to, I think I mentioned to you, a separate call, somebody actually came back to me and it looks like we're back on. So that's good. One out of about 9, I think.
Yeah, so because I think your commitment was to do it like 2 mornings of a week, which I did think was harder because I know how busy you are and you're becoming busier. So, but the fact that you have followed them up obviously shows that this works because it has been put into your subconscious, hasn't it? And you've done it regardless. So that's really good. So I want to give you a
last minute thing.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, I would like to invite any of you that would like to commit now to what you will be focusing over the next month, which is anything that's been on your to-do list, anything that you know that you're doing and spending a lot of time on that you probably shouldn't be doing, like leading your business, anything that you want to do different, if you're wanting to embody anything that me and Chrissie have spoken about today, about identity, showing up, how you will show up, that type of thing. So I would like to invite people now to essentially put your hand up and then we can invite you up. Chrissie, go on then.
I will go first, yes. So I have been sat on the idea for an offer for a long time and I need to get my finger out and actually do something about it. So this offer is all about how you can basically set your, actually to be fair, I need to give Becky credit for this because it's actually given me the kick start up the bum that I need really, because this is basically how you can set your sleep environment up to support you. Yes, to rest, but also, I mean, we all know what it's like when you wake up feeling really groggy, like you have done this morning, Nicola, and your brain's not in gear, you're not firing on all cylinders. But it's really interesting when you go into like the micro habits and micro behaviors that you have in terms of setting up your routine, setting up your bed environment. And also those like micro behaviors and micro habits that you have in relation to how you rest, how you look after yourself, so that the next day you can actually feel like you're fully on your game. So this is going to be a mini course, a short mini course on how you can set all of that up. And it also goes into what colours best support you for things like your pajamas, your bed linen, your slippers, your bathrobe, that kind of thing. This is also your wealth power color as well, so just as an extra bonus to know about. But then also I want to talk about how you can the best positions for you personally to sleep in. And this isn't always possible, but there are things that you can do from an energetic perspective that are different to most of the like consultants and stuff in terms of how you can harness your environment a bit more to support you. So that's going to be my commitment to get that launched by June.
June. 1st of June or 30th of June? Where we're going?
First, I'm going to go with.
Right. I shall be holding you accountable, Chrissie. You know that I will.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that sounds incredible as well. Very interesting, definitely. Who would like to go next? Come on then, Keely.
I'm going to, related to this, I'm going to commit to doing that sort out of my wardrobe, and really, because I'm an energy worker as well, and it really does make a huge difference to how you show up, who you are when you're doing it, helping you to embody the right identity. That's going to be the energetic side of work I'm committing to.
Yeah, amazing. And also, Keely, you are looking incredible, by the way, and I love your handbag. Very much love that.
That's been my wardrobe for such a long time. Such a long time. And I haven't
like that.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, I spend my time. Do you know what? It's actually a bigger conversation. I'd love to connect with you, Chrissie, and have a catch-up call, because I think it's a bigger part of my identity, because I'm living pretty much on a caravan site. I spend most of my time in my static caravan, and so I've kind of taken on the identity of someone who's a bit too laid back and on holiday, and actually I need to embody more of my face younger Manchester self.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's a big,
yeah, I would love to. That would be amazing. Yeah,
fantastic.
I'll send you a message. I'll get Nicola to give me your email address, and we'll get something sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Who's next? Anybody? Lisa.
I'm going to keep following up, but also I haven't really been, when you're busy and you stop putting stuff in at the other end, and I've not done my social media stuff recently, and I've got 4 things going on that all need attention, so I'm going to actually schedule them this month.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, I know that is a big thing for you, so well done.
Thank you.
Tag me in when you put them up and I'll share them for you, because I know you've got some exciting retreat coming up in September or end of August, isn't it? So amazing. Would anybody else like to commit?
Yeah, I will. So interesting what you were talking about identity earlier and how we show up on social media. My profile picture at the moment is the picture that is known as Mrs. Important, and it feels really, really corporate-y. And I've been wanting to do something about getting it changed out to look more like the current version of me. So I'm going to be changing out Mrs. Important for who I am now.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'll be keeping a lookout for that then, Lou.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Oh, sorry. Shall I go next?
Yeah, we'll go Becky and then we'll go Tara.
Okay. So I'm also going to do my wardrobe. Thank you for that inspiration. But also, I've got a retreat in October that we launched yesterday, but I haven't planned the social media and marketing around that, and I keep putting it off. So I'm going to make sure that is done, not this month, that needs to be done this week. So
amazing. Good luck with that. If you need any inspiration or help with that as well, then that is also my area. It's a retreat, so happy to make it. Yeah.
I'll make note of that. Thank you.
Tara?
And do connect and share.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be great if everybody could connect, and then you can all share each other's events, because everybody's doing amazing things at the minute. Okay, Tara.
So for me, it would be to actually action the social media content plan. I've been writing content, but I need to actually share it. So I think doing that this month would be very good. But also another commitment that I really need to step a bit out of my comfort zone for is following up and strengthening the connections I do make. I've been doing a lot more networking, and I think it's just following up with people. You make those connections on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, but just really continuing the conversation outside of that face-to-face meetup or online meetup.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think, Tara, as well, the good thing about that is when you jump on a call or you meet for a coffee or whatever outside of those networking events, because a networking event can be quite performative, can't it? But I think when you jump onto a call and it's just you one-to-one with somebody else, they do get the everybody flashed off then. It must have been my internet. So yeah, well done. And Tara, you're not on your own with regards to people who write content and then don't always put it out. I bet everybody on this call will have done that. I've recorded loads of podcast bits and I haven't put them anywhere. It's just sat on my laptop, and it's like it literally took me a day. So you are not on your own. So I'll also be keeping my eyes open for your content, and if you want me to share any of that, then please do tag me and I'll be happy to share it on my network. Okay, Louise, are you wanting to commit to anything?
Yeah, I'm going to go upstairs right now and chuck out my old pajamas. I'm going to get some dungarees. I'm really excited about these dungarees. I don't know where that come from. There's an old photo of me on my Zoom, actually, which is a really old version of me that every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, it makes me cringe. I'm going to change that. So thanks, Louis, for that one. And I have got an abundance kind of program that I want to put out there that I keep. I just need to get that done, really. So
Yeah, I mean, I love it how Chrissie has given you permission to throw out old pajamas, which potentially means buy new ones, and also permission to get the dungarees. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I myself am going to commit as well, because like Chrissie, I've also been working on something big behind the scenes, and Chrissie will know because I've been picking at her brains for over the last month or so. And so yeah, I am going to be talking about this. And for me myself, it's a higher ticket offer, and I feel like they're the types of things that like we really struggle with putting ourselves out there, like, and it, you know, kind of stirs up a lot of feelings around, you know, like worth and that type of stuff. But I really feel like I'm ready for that now. So that is going to be something that I'm going to definitely be talking about more online over the next month. And I am also committing to getting back into my regular at least 2 video social media posts a week, because they were doing really great for my visibility, and I've just fallen off, as you do when you're busy. And that is me committing to prioritizing that kind of CEO type of stuff that I need to be doing and putting myself at the front of my business. So I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. I really do hope that you've taken a lot of value. Thank you to the people who I know, to the people who I've just met today. It's been really, really interesting. A massive thank you to Chrissie for coming and being my guest on CEO Hour. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I hope that you have too, and I hope to see you all again sometime soon.
I think he's got a question before you go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it was just to add, Louise, look at My Britches.
Say again, Donna?
Is my look at a company called My Britches.
My Britches, I will do. Thank you.
Oh, and I'll just say as well before we go that Lisa did put the link in for that SmartWorks.
Yeah.
So if
really
anybody does have any old well, not old, but you know, stuff that you don't wear anymore. I think I've got a Ted Baker suit that I've kept hold of just because it was Ted Baker. I have not worn that for years.
They also a lot of their clients tend to be at the larger end of sizes, so that's where they struggle. If you've been on a weight loss journey, then that was brilliant.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right then. Thank you so much, ladies. I'll let you get back to the rest of your day. Have a fabulous week, and I hope to see you all soon.
Thanks, Nicola.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.